This what if is going to be a little different from the one I did previously. Don't worry, I'm working on that one. I just want to get this one done. Anyway, this one is going to be about Frieza having a cousin. And the cousin I've made myself, as you can see the picture right here. His name is Glacier. And in order for this what if to happen, King Cold will have to have a brother. So let's give him one. And King Cold and his brother meet up after a long time away for some reason. They go off and to chat about their lives and how apparently King Cold's brother has a son. What a coincidence, King Cold just so happens to have a son too. And his brother jokes that maybe one day his son will rule over the universe and King Cold's will be his servant. King Cold laughs at this, thinking it's never going to happen. Anyway, when he's asked what the name of this child is, King Cold's brother says his name is Glacier. Years pass, and Glacier is training to be ruthless and evil like Frieza, but he doesn't seem to get it, which seems to frustrate his own father. Glacier doesn't seem to get it, but one day he ends up saving a recruitment of Frieza from some ambushers. This person's name is Zarbon. The two become close friends. Eventually, Zarbon sees what his new friend Glacier is telling him about the whole Frieza not treating him right, and he begins to agree with him. One day, word gets out that Frieza conquered the planet of Vegeta, and Glacier goes down to visit. Although nearly all the Saiyans who see him are, well, staring at daggers at him, which he can possibly understand. Being looking like Frieza doesn't really make you a lot of friends. Either they're staring at you in anger or they're terrified of you. But that all changes with one day when he's walking through the streets, a young Saiyan is flying towards him and bumps into him. Two Saiyan guards are chasing after him until they stop and mistake Glacier for Frieza. But when they soon realize it's not him, they're just left staring at him. Glacier manages to calm down the child that looks very rowdy and wonders what they're planning on doing to the child. However, he doesn't get this answer because the child is taken away. Later, the child's father, who introduces himself as Paragus, bumps into Glacier and says, "Have you seen where they took my son Broly?" And Glacier points to the direction where the guards were. And he decides then to leave the planet, but not before visiting the castle where King Vegeta is. King Vegeta just looks at him in disgust, which Glacier takes the opportunity to just leave. And a few days later, all Saiyans are drawn back to the planet Vegeta. Glacier is watching this, and all of a sudden, when he sees his cousin Frieza destroy the planet, he is left horrified, knowing that there were a lot of innocent kids on that planet. This seemed to change Glacier as he decided to leave the Frieza force for good. Zarbon even telling him to take a spaceship, which he does. And the spaceship, he flies far away, so he doesn't ever have to go back to Frieza. And when he found a planet to stop by, he decided to rest there until the local inhabitants, which were green-skinned aliens known as Namekians, thinking that they were under attack, they tried to attack him, but he simply managed to dodge their attacks and told them that he was there for peace. Eventually, another Namekian arrives who calls himself Nail, and Nail brings him to the Elder Guru, where Guru can sense there is goodness in him. And as a special gift for for not hurting any of his children, Guru unlocks his potential, even though Glacier doesn't feel like he has earned something like this. But he takes it anyway. And Guru assures him that you're a lot better than your cousin. With this, he decides to leave them. Guru tells him he's welcome back here anytime. He takes that to heart and heads to another planet where no one can find him. A backwater planet that no one should be able to find him on. A planet known as Earth, which he remains there for a while. Up into, well, the Raditz saga, where he's just lying down in his hidden spaceship with his scouter he built. All of a sudden, he gets a transmission from an unknown person. But apparently, this one is a Saiyan named Raditz, and he was mortally wounded. He then hears how Raditz says that his Saiyans will come to this planet and destroy it. Glacier, realizing that Saiyans are on their way, could mean that Frieza might find out where he is. So he remains hidden until eventually the Saiyans arrive. Glacier at first doesn't do anything until he detects a bunch of power levels opposing the Saiyans. Curious, he goes to investigate and sees the Z fighters fighting Nappa and Vegeta. Glacier watches the aftermath from there, and it goes pretty much as normal. Yamcha dies, Chaozu and Tenshinhan die, and he even notices that there's a Namekian there. Strange, he thought that all Namekians were on planet Namek. Oh well. He continues watching, disgusted at the Saiyans hurting those poor fighters. Eventually, Nappa begins to fire a beam at Gohan, but Piccolo gets in the way and dies as per normal. Glacier is just sitting there, slowly building his anger as he can't stand this anymore. And finally decides to do something when he sees Nappa about to squish Gohan, as he fires a death beam right at Nappa's side, mortally wounding him. Nappa and Vegeta both look up at where the beam had come from and are immediately shocked to see a silhouette of Frieza. Nappa exclaims, What is Frieza doing here? I didn't know. How did he know we were here? Vegeta is frozen in fear as Glacier jumps down from the rock he was perched on and begins to walk towards them. It is only then when they realize it's not Frieza. But they are still shocked to see one of Frieza's people here. Nappa begins to go off on him, saying, How dare you hurt me like that? But is quickly silenced when Glacier punches him in the stomach, sparing his life and deciding not to kill him. Vegeta then fires a Gallic gun at both, but he only ends up killing Nappa, as Glacier appears behind him and slaps him into a rock mountain. Krillin and Gohan watch as Vegeta is struggling against this new foe, or ally? They're not really sure. Vegeta charges at him, but eventually has to resort to firing a full-power Gallic gun, which Glacier just knocks him far away into the mountains. This is when Goku arrives, and is pretty shocked to see that this new fighter all of a sudden there. But there's no time for that because Vegeta activates his Great Ape form. But Glacier doesn't seem worried, although Goku, Gohan, and Krillin seem to be extremely worried. Glacier just states, that's your plan, Prince of Monkeys? Make yourself a bigger target? Vegeta tries to squash Glacier, but he ends up getting out of the way. Goku stepping in, trying to help as best he can, but ends up getting squished, being crushed by Vegeta's arm, until eventually Vegeta realizes that he lost track of Glacier, which Glacier then appears from behind, shooting a death beam through Vegeta's tail, removing it. Shrinking down, Vegeta is injured but not giving up, until Glacier fires another death beam into Vegeta's chest, wounding him and causing him to fall on the ground. He then floats down and states, well, I think this monkey's had enough. Vegeta has no choice now. He presses a button to call his space pod, and as soon as it arrives, Krillin tries to stop him from getting away. But Glacier blocks the way and tells him, it's over. He isn't worth it. And lets Vegeta go. But not before Vegeta states, I'll be back. And when I do, this isn't over between us. You'll pay for interfering. Glacier simply just watches the pod fly away. After that, he introduces himself to both Goku and his friends, saying he is Glacier, an ally that has been on Earth for a while. Krillin's a bit hesitant to trust him, considering he looks a bit scary, and he's aware that he was there the whole time and basically watched them all die. Although Goku understands why he didn't get involved first. But Gohan seems to like him. After all, he's the one who saved him. So after the whole aftermath and everyone is introduced to Glacier, they're wondering what to do now since they don't have any Dragon Balls. But Glacier then comes up with the idea, is the green one, Piccolo, really from Namek? Well, when I traveled there and they told me that they have Dragon Balls. I didn't know what they were, but they might do the same. And with that, they know how to get their friends back. But Bulma doesn't really know how to get there without a spaceship, until she finds Nappa's space pod remote. She's about to press a few buttons on it, but Glacier grabs it from her and she says, hey, and he says, about to blow it up? Because that's what you were going to do. Glacier then goes on to state that he was a real good tech wizard, and he knows how to work pods like this. Glacier just manages to press the button to summon the pod. And Krillin states that, well, even if we have a space pod, we're not going to be able to fit all there. And Glacier says, well, that's okay, because I have a spaceship in reserve. It doesn't fly anymore, but we should be able to salvage parts from it. And so the team gets to work as they begin to build. And eventually the ship is ready to go. Goku's still injured, so he decides to stay behind. But luckily for him, Glacier made a second spaceship out of the spare parts that they had. And with this space pod, they should be able to get to Namek no problem in 2 days' time. So Krillin, Gohan, Bulma, and Glacier take the first spaceship to fly to Namek. It takes some convincing from Chi-Chi, but after Glacier tells her that there's a library and he's diversed on many Earth cultures thanks to collecting a bunch of books over the years of being on Earth, she decides to let Gohan go. And the people make it to Namek no problem. He then has to explain himself, Glacier, when he arrives on planet Namek, explaining to the Namekians that his friends need to use these Dragon Balls to help revive their friends. The Namekians, knowing that Glacier is a friend, decides to help him. But that all changes when Glacier sees a spaceship in the sky. Frieza had arrived. And that is where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So I hope you enjoyed, and please like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if you want to see more of this series, because I'm very interested. Bye!